LA. Straight up.
Let's go out to LA. The new anthem.
California
Love Part 2.
One time.
To live in LA. West side, west side, west side. To live in down LA, where everybody try to fatten their pocket. So many hustle for the cash, so it's hard to knock it. Everybody got their own thing, currency chasing worldwide.
Well, hello. God bless your community family, and welcome to Gang Talk with Skipp Townsend and Sister Herron and Marcus Woods. We've been coming here every Thursday for the last 2 years, and actually Skipp and I started on radio. I started in 2009, and Skipp joined me 3 years later, and only came to radio because of the Southern California Ceasefire Committee and the Watts Gang Task Force. And being in those two organizations proved to me how dedicated we as a community were to trying to find solutions to our trauma and our drama and our murder and anything else that was attached to it. So I was very proud to find both of those organizations, and because the work was so significant, I thought it was really important to bring it to hearing forum where if you wouldn't come to the meeting, and I'm going to say that nicely, that at least you could find out what we were doing in those rooms. So God bless you once again, and welcome to this hour of dedicated business about the black community. And Skipp?
Yes, Sister Herron, as always, I give all honor and praise to God. I'm truly grateful to be alive, and just glad to be here.
Yes, sir.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, sir. And young Marcus Woods joined us this year. Bless his heart, because when I'll tell his backstory. They took him at 17 and took 17 years from him for something he didn't do. So when Marcus came back and got through that cloud of smoke, he found his way to us, found his way to Southern California Ceasefire Committee, and then found his way here to this microphone to share his stories and his understanding with us as well. So, Marcus, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I'm always blessed to come here and listen to Skipp sing to us all.
Well, you all promised to sing tonight, both of you. I heard it.
I don't know about me promising. I didn't say nothing about
whoa. I heard it.
He said, whoa.
I heard it.
That's like woo, woo, woo.
Yeah, woo, woo, woo. That's the background.
Yeah, see, I got it out the way.
That's the doo-wop part. Okay, well, that's all right. And the first thing we do is to thank our guest from last week, and we really appreciate her coming in because it's very difficult for us to identify African-American owned businesses. And so we were happy to have the Brooklyn Deli, Remy from the Brooklyn Deli right here in the Crenshaw community, come and sit with us and talk about her experiences in getting in business and what brought her out to L.A. and those kinds of things. So we really appreciate those that have the courage to come and sit and talk to us, because we are topic specific normally. And as I said, with as much hurt that I couldn't control last night, that it's murder that captured my attention.
Right.
Murder first. The murder of our young people, your murder of our young men, our women, our children, our babies. And so it's been very traumatic, but God bless all of those that are committed to making a difference for us. And so I'm more grateful to be in that crowd with them than any other place. So
yes, ma'am.
Let's just go on with the show.
Thank you, sister. I just want to say real quick that Remy, even though she came, she was kidnapped. We closed the gate. We closed the gate.
Yes, we did.
Said, hey, you here. You stuck with us.
That's right.
So I want to thank her and her husband. Her husband is actually running the place while she was over here talking with us.
Hakeem.
So I want to give a shout out to her husband and the new baby that they got.
Yes.
The baby works too, I think. Tasting
they keep
food
the baby at the deli with them.
Right.
They do, and she's learning the business from the ground up. So
really
that's
from
a
the
good
ground,
thing.
from the stomach up.
From the stomach up.
She came right out like, okay, what's my role here?
That's true, because I think the first time I saw her, she was in a walker. one of those learn how to walk things and managing her way around behind the counter. So it really is nice to see family businesses in our community where we have our children involved as well. So that's a gift.
Because I know a lot of people is in their family business, and now it's going to be legal. That's why our guests are here, so there are people who grew up with their parents and their grandparents who said, we're going to keep this in the family. Mm-hmm. And, now
we're about to find out.
We're about to find out.
As you see, I'm in seasonal attire tonight because it is that season that believers celebrate above. There are only two. That's Resurrection and Christmas. And so this is the second one of a very important commemoration for believers. So this is why I put on my Christmas look. And the famous sweater I've had since 2000, I don't know.
2000.
It's at least 10 years old,
so that's 17 years if I do my math correctly.
Okay, because I've been joking about it all week. Wow. I pull it out every Christmas for several years now, and I promised last year I was going to retire it. But I figure, this is 2017. I want to go out with a better memory than I have of the last 360-something days. So that's why I dressed for the occasion, and we brought a little celebratory tree.
And it's your birthday, right?
Yes, well.
And happy birthday in 2 more days. What, 2 more days? 3 more days?
Well, this is the 21st, so technically 4 days away.
Well, you can celebrate whenever you want. Matter of fact, we can celebrate it right now. You talking about singing? Come on, Marcus. We're going to do this.
You ready?
Wait, hold on. Noreen, I need you too. Come on, David, I need you too.
And I seen you on stage, so I don't know.
Right. We know you. But none of them words you've been using on stage, though. We got this going to be clean. Clean audience, right? So we're going to sing happy birthday to sister?
Oh, Lord.
Y'all ready?
No. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you,
sister.
Happy birthday.
Say it like you mean it
to you,
sister.
Happy birthday, dear sister. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, Lord, bless your heart. Bless your heart. That ain't a song I'm familiar with on my birthday because it's all about Christmas. What's under the tree?
Right.
Okay, what are we eating? So that's kind of the way I was raised. So when, bless Dale's heart, when I married my husband over 40 years ago, bless his heart, I started getting twofers. For Christmas, I got a Christmas gift and a birthday gift.
All right.
So that man really treated me good, and I want to say that this week on Facebook. He sure did treat me right. Okay?
All right.
So let's get on into our show because this is so off of the seasonal topic. I'm a little traumatized about it because it's a big deal.
Well, you know what?
It's a big deal.
Why don't we all just engage in what the topic is? I mean, literally engage. If you know what I'm talking about. Let's try something out. Let's go across the street and get the papers and let's see what we talking about.
You want to roll one?
Just roll one up.
Wow.
So I'm just saying, it's the season. I don't normally do this, but come on, let's do it. I'm sure you got a blunt with you. What's your name anyway? Would you say your name? Introduce yourself.
No, not after that.
Yeah, that's some kind of way to introduce you, isn't it?
What kind of segue is that into introducing me? And why, after you want to go get the blunt, you want to introduce me?
And then he threw the microphone.
And he said he knew you had a blunt.
And he knew I had. What the?
He just profiled you all the way around.
What the what?
Okay, tell me what part was wrong.
What the what? All of it, from stem to rim.
Look, see?
Everything was this. So now, why don't we turn it over to the guy that might be able to help you? Okay.
All right, but you're the guest, and you brought a guest, so...
Okay, so what I'm going to do... My name is Noreen McClendon.
Mm-hmm.
Nice to meet you all. I'm the executive director of Concerned Citizens of South Central Los Angeles, a nonprofit corporation.
Oh, yeah.
Clearly, we ain't in the cannabis business.
Yeah, we can't.
Okay, but we're going to try to fix that. Anywho.
Oh, we going to get in the cannabis business? Concerned Citizens?
Well, let's not jump ahead. We're just doing introductions right now. Okay.
And so this is, I brought a guest because he's very knowledgeable. And he and I have been in the trenches trying to make sure that as the cannabis regulations were developed, that our community wasn't yet again left out. Mm-hmm. And so his name is Danny Shaker. and he is part of the Think and Grow Lab and Cannabis of Los Angeles. And he is also, I met Danny because
we wanted you to introduce yourself and let him introduce himself.
Okay, well, why don't we go and let Danny do that? But I'm
he's a
Noreen.
mover and shaker.
Hey, y'all, I'm not.
You the mover, he's a shaker.
Ooh, you on a roll.
And
You
Mike
on a
right
roll.
on over there
You
and-
on a roll, Skipp.
Introduce yourself.
Hello,
please.
everyone. Yeah, my name is Danny Shaker. We're with Think and Grow Lab. It's also a nonprofit. We're located out of the city's clean tech incubator in downtown LA. The reason we formed, my business partner and I, Sheree Franklin, and with Noreen's help now as well, we formed after we met with Assemblyman Reginald Jones Sawyer and Council President Herb Wesson, and they said that we need to start helping the communities who were mostly affected by the war on drugs. And how do we show them that there is a pathway to being part of this regulated market? So we formed to help, and provide access into this industry. And then from there, we spun off and started COLA, Cannabis of Los Angeles, and that's more of an incubator that provides hands-on training.
Let me just say something, because we didn't declare the topic tonight. This topic tonight is about the legal nature of marijuana that starts January 1st? Okay, January 1st. Okay.
Legal
so
recreational.
we felt it was critically important for our community especially to understand the challenges that are going to come with that use. So this is why we asked them to join us tonight. So.
Right.
Yeah, and I know we're short on time, but high level, there's just so much misinformation out there.
Yes.
From just our people that we've been hearing the misinformation, the main thing is that come January 1st, 2018, it's over for the mom and pops, it's for the regular civilians. Big corporate America is going to come over cannabis, and that's not the truth. It's actually the opposite of that. So we can talk about that more.
All right. Real good.
Okay. Well, what kind of sparked this, well, not just a legal issue, but I did go to the meeting at the WLCAC they had a few months ago, and I was really quite alarmed at all the limitations and restrictions that I was hearing. And, of course, we're a community that has suffered the arrest, conviction, and prison time for engaging in this arena. Right. So the one question I didn't get to ask, because I was just shocked. I guess shock's not the right word. But when I heard all of the regulations that are coming about with this legalization, I got alarmed because my feeling was if you don't follow the guidelines, you could end up back in prison. Right. So that's what concerned me, because my joke was, since we spent so much prison time because of marijuana in Los Angeles, do they get their convictions overturned now? Do they get to participate as ex-weed offenders in the arena? Are there any restrictions against them? That's the way I came at this. That's the way my head worked.
That's a good question.
We know so many people that have served time for that.
So individuals who have served time for possession of a controlled substance, possession with the intent to sell a controlled substance, and it was marijuana, will they be eligible to own their own business?
Yeah,
now?
that's a great question. Fortunately for us, Council President Herb Wesson and Kat Packer, who are leading this charge, are mandating that there's a social equity program. And that program is just exactly what you guys talked about. People who have convictions for cannabis-related crimes, live in low-income neighborhoods, will get priority for licensing. Mm-hmm. So that's what that's some of the good information everyone needs to know about.
You can have your own spot.
Well, let me ask another question too before we close that door. Isn't a police permit required?
No police permit is required. So you need a local permit from the city you're going to be operating in, and it's a business license. All right. And then once you get your city business license, you go and get a state license. So you need both of those licenses to become operational. But it's an objective application process. You meet you check off the items they want you to check off, and they'll give you a license. So if your concerns are real estate, capital investments, there are programs that we're putting together that we can wrap our arms around you guys, find you the space, invest in you guys, and you guys would become the operators, licensees, and then we would help you guys through that.
And that's a commercial location. Now we're gonna go back. See, this is what sparked this, the meeting, and then that arrest. They had what do they call it? A drug bust. Okay, they invaded this grow house with thousands of plants in there, and arrested the owner of the grow house, which is typical. Which I looked at it because this is a prominent grow house, and not like growing in the yard. And obviously, the amount of marijuana they were growing in this place was not intended to be distributed on the corners in my neighborhood. So I was wondering, is this a medical marijuana grow house that got raided? You see, because aren't we technically still caught in the cultivation, the law against cultivation? And that brings the question, well, and I'm only paraphrasing, Marcus is not going to go in this business.
No.
But if Marcus decided he wanted to,
Marcus.
where's he going to get his product from?
So now you have to have a licensed distributor.
A grower, you mean?
Well, a cultivator, and it all has to be licensed. Everything will be tracked from the seed all the way to sale.
From the seed to the sale.
From seed to sale.
They want to know how many seeds you have.
Yes.
How many did you plant?
Yes. How many died?
Right.
When you trimmed it, how much waste was there? But there's software and different things that help you to track all of that information. So
From
yes, they
seed to
want to
sale.
from seed literally, and
Seed
that
to
is how it is defined. There's a tracking system from seed to sale. Okay. And we could, now I'm going to say this. I personally voted against legalization of marijuana because I was concerned about the regulations and what it would do. Okay. But now that it has been legalized, more people voted the other way.
Right.
And now that it's here, what do we do about that? Okay. The social equity piece was for redress for people who were affected by that war on drugs. Now their convictions may have to have been a certain amount of time ago or whatever. Your cocaine convictions, this ain't gonna do nothing to help you.
Well, this is not a
Right.
cocaine
No,
conversation.
right.
No, this is about marijuana.
Right.
Strictly.
This is strictly about
marijuana.
cannabis.
Yes.
Okay. And the reality is that yes, there are lots of regulations. Even if there are things now that you violate in the regulations, for the most part, it's fines
Fine. Okay.
that you're going to pay, but they're steep.
Yeah.
They're steep. So, for example, this is one thing people in our community need to understand. Hear me if you don't hear nothing else that's said this entire night about this industry. If you have an unlicensed marijuana dispensary, starting January 1, they can fine you as the business owner and the property owner $20,000 a day.
A day.
A day.
Per infraction.
Per infraction. Okay? So it is not worth it to you or the property owner to maintain an unlicensed
Distribution.
right.
Any business.
No business related to it. Get your license. This is one of the reasons why I am a part of the Think and Grow Lab. We will help you with your application. We will help you meet with people who know how to set up your standard operating procedures. We will help you with the consultants, put you in line with the people who know what it is that you're required to do and help you, because you have to give them architectural plans to show them your space and all of these kinds of things. It's not impossible. It is not impossible, but it's not going to be on every single corner.
Not like
Which
it is
it doesn't
now.
need, and it doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, we don't need it on every single corner, right?
Well, I hear a little bias in what you're saying here. See, because of the medical marijuana issue, we had a crop of dispensaries with green crosses all over our community. And really what they need to know, they're in jeopardy. They're in jeopardy now as of January 1st. We have to be real clear about that, whether we have a plethora or a great reduction. These folks that are already operating, and this is what my concern is, how does that impact the medical marijuana aspect of this? So are they allowed to continue, or do they have to go over into the retail end of this?
Okay, so medical cannabis and recreational cannabis will pretty much be regulated the same way. The difference being, the major difference in medical and recreational will be the taxes. There will be a lot less taxes on medical marijuana than there will on recreational. That is pretty much the biggest difference between the two. So it's going to basically follow the same regulations. So the industry will continue. Those people who use cannabis to keep them healthy, the people who suffer PTSD and don't want to take the narcotics, they will still be able to get their medicine for them, to take care of them. Now, if they were not licensed, those dispensaries were not licensed, yes, they're going to be in jeopardy. But what they can do is get licensed.
So the medical marijuana places must follow this guidelines.
Absolutely.
They have to be registered as well.
Well,
that's helpful information, because we've had a lot of complaints that people are just randomly opening a marijuana shop and saying, well, it's for medical dispensing. And, it's a lot of stuff in there because everybody that has a license doesn't need one. That's kind of the joke. But I'm going to get the license because I'm tired of getting arrested for a joint. I'm tired of getting pulled over because my car smells like I've been smoking, those kind of things. So California has been really using the medical marijuana to study the user. Well, this is why I believe that this passed, because when you apply for that license, you have to give your social security number and your driver's license.
Wait, you couldn't have a corporation number? No. EIN, a tax ID?
Well, this is for the patient use I'm talking about. Okay. When you get your, I'm authorized to go in this pharmacy. You have to give that doctor your social security number and your driver's license number. Well, California is able to track your record. You see, if you and your driver's license have had a whole lot of driving violations under the influence, you see, if you're going out committing crimes and robbing pharmacies, you see, they were able to track that. So apparently they weren't getting a negative collection of wrongdoing, so the state feels a little more confident. And look, let's just be real. California's always grown weed up in Humboldt County, and I understand Humboldt has some of the best marijuana in the country.
Well, do you know that for sure, sister?
Huh?
I'm just asking. Do you know that for sure, that they have the best?
I heard.
Okay, all right.
Well, California grows 2/3 of all the cannabis consumed in America.
2/3.
So 66% of everything consumed in America is grown in California and shipped out.
Yes.
And I agree with you that medical marijuana paved the way for recreational cannabis. We've been medical since 1996. But just one correction. They're not. You don't give your social security number when you go get a prescription for medical cannabis, so it's not really being tracked. That's another fear a lot of people did have. They're like, "Oh, I don't want to get a medical card from my doctor because the government's going to know what I'm doing if I'm smoking." That's not true. It was not being tracked.
Well, there are a lot of doctors who wouldn't give you a license anyway, so you had to go to those doctors that were set up to get wherever they were. Because they cropped up just like the little pharmacies did. You can get a license. I mean, we had people on Western and Vernon stand outside, get your marijuana card,
Never.
Right.
Yeah, so it was a
that's another thing. Will you have to have the card or the recreation?
Well, so if you just want to walk in off the street and just buy recreational, it's just like alcohol. You have to be 21 years or older. But if you want to get that discount, less taxes. So if you have a medical card, you can walk in and show them your medical card and pay 5% tax instead of 10% tax, which is on recreational.
Get your weed cheaper.
It's just
the tax. It's not the weed.
Some places will have like an express lane for like medical patients, so you can kind of go faster through the process.
Express lane.
Cater to the medicinal crowd a little bit more.
You know what they've done? They've taken out the weed man. No neighborhood is no longer gonna have no weed man no more. What they gonna do?
Well, you know,
Ain't no more big worms, huh?
No big worm.
I see the tobacco industry poised at the brink to
Waiting,
come in here and just take
waiting.
care of all of this. They're going to
Waiting.
pack it like cigarettes. They're going to put the best in the liquor cabinet like they do the Remy and the Hennessy.
They
You
already
know,
have
they're going
all
to do it that
They
way.
got-
I think that's
sodas.
inevitable.
Yeah.
That's long term, but I think we've got 5 to 7 years to start a business, maybe
Okay.
create a brand, and then wait for those guys to come in and buy you out, right?
Man,
That's true.
Because that's
I-
how it's going to
That's
be.
how
in my
business
the
opinion.
only
works.
reason
That's
I'm
how it
saying
works.
it this way is because I saw a big, not to mention the grow house that was just raided, but there was a huge warehouse in Colorado.
Yeah.
A wide open space, and that thing is as big as 2 or 3 football fields.
Yeah.
You see, so there is an industrial nature in this that wants in this arena that's going to kick out the small folks like us. You see
Well,
that we're
and
not
with
going to
cannabis,
be able
unlike
to
alcohol
compete.
and cigarettes, there's a culture and a subculture to it, right? It's not there's top shelf, there's middle shelf, you know what I mean? And there's and
Yeah.
if it's grown.
We talked
locally-
about Hennessy versus Seagrams.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, I mean, I think it's a little bit different, and people are still going to want to be the cannabis connoisseurs and find their particular strains that they like. So, yeah, there might be that general cannabis line, but for the most part, there's going to be that culture where we want to get it from locally sourced, grown, quality, different strains. And strains are going to change constantly. One month, one strain is hot. 6 months later, it's another strain.
Competition factor.
And it's going to be hard for Philip Morris and Walmart, these guys, to stay ahead of the trend for what I'm trying to say. But there's 17 different licenses available. You can get into it at any stage. You can be on the cultivation side. You can be on the manufacturing side.
So there is a provision for cultivation in
Oh,
this.
yeah, you can-
Well, because this is my bottom question. If you raided the marijuana grow house, who's going to get raided next with this law?
When you enter a regulated market, remember you're becoming partners with the government. So the government is going to shut down those unlicensed dispensaries, manufacturers, cultivators, because they're not paying taxes and you are. So they're actually protecting you by shutting everyone else down because they're your competition. So go get licensed. And,
Right.
and let the government protect you from everyone else.
Yeah.
Pay your taxes and create a brand and make generational wealth.
He just said, "Go get your license."
There's
So
an
we're gonna grow it
opportunity.
at your house.
There's
We're
an
gonna have Marcus sell it.
Look,
And
it's here. It's here. It's inevitable.
We're not doing that. What Skipp just said. No, we're not.
we have a grow house,
No,
and
Skipp.
we can help him get his license.
Yeah. You can deliver. You can get a delivery license.
You could be a
You don't need
deliverer.
to
I could
grow.
be
You
the
can do
deliverer.
anything. There's different licenses.
I can go to different neighborhoods. People like me, Crips and the Bloods. I can
Well,
go.
see, because so much of it has been in a gray area.
Yeah.
So much of this has been in a gray area with the medical marijuana versus the delivery, as you said, versus the provider, versus the one. Where did the miracle?
That is
I
going to
gotta-
be dangerous, though.
I
I
gotta-
think delivery is going to be dangerous.
Well, there's
They
ways.
already
I
have
mean,
it.
If you pre-register everyone, you know what I mean. Imagine.
Like an Uber or something.
Yeah, you already registered
Like it's
your credit
online.
cards on
Like you
file.
have
your
normal
driver's
customers.
license is on file, so you know who you're delivering to. You're not taking
Yeah,
random.
it's like delivering pizza.
Right, which was dangerous.
I'm saying, I
Pizza
mean,
not
as far as
registered.
the how that goes, you call, you tell them where you at, they
So
have a
you've done
price
this
for you.
before.
I actually,
I would
know some
imagine
people,
with what Marcus is
Marcus have a
suggesting
friend.
here,
Yeah.
there's
did that.
someone.
there's capability in crime and
right?
everything.
It's already happening.
But-
It's been happening.
I think when it comes to delivery of this, you're going to have to know your customers
Right.
before you just go to somebody that calls you and say, "Oh, I want a baggie or whatever."
Right. A
It's
baggie?
not going to happen. Well, whatever. I
A
don't know.
baggie. Wow.
I ain't been in the
there's so many
dispensary
different
yet,
products
so
out
I don't
there.
know how it's working.
They got pizza, they got sodas, they got water.
What are
they
you
got
talking about?
Different
Everything,
cannabis products.
Yeah.
the products that he's talking
soda,
about is bigger than
Right.
what you think. It's not just flour. They got everything
yeah.
from hydrant to
Yeah, they do.
cream
They have
for your
lemonade.
pain. They have everything.
You have
They have
transdermal
chocolate.
patches. You put a
Yeah.
patch on that releases, cannabis into your blood.
Oh,
There's mints.
Is that going to be available too with this legalization
Oh,
patches?
So a big portion of this industry is going to be manufactured products. So
Yeah.
I mean, currently flour is still the number one selling part of the flour. it's like 70-30. 70% cannabis is being sold at the flower form, and then the 30% and growing is the manufactured products like vape pens and gummy bears and mints and gel capsules and lotions
man, my
and all
kids
sorts of
liable to
other
have
stuff.
gummy bears. Man.
And medicinal is going to be a big part of this industry as well, and that's going to be, in our opinion, it's going to be bigger than the recreational market going forward because, we were reading a stat last week that said there is about $100 billion that we can take away from the pharmaceutical industry and treat with cannabis products.
Yes, that's true.
So instead of like opiates and Vicodins and Norcos, you can be treated by cannabis. So if we can get people to convert over and start creating medicinal products with the cannabis plant,
we're a country that needs to do that because we have a tremendous epidemic right now of heroin and opioid addictions and overdoses. Noreen?
This is really, really important. One of the main reason that I got involved in this is to make sure, and when he talked about the various products, is because there's some science involved in extracting things from cannabis and turning it into juices and gummy bears and the like. And there are some skills you have to operate these businesses. My primary focus was to get us involved, get our people trained on how to do those jobs. Some of those jobs are $40 an hour.
Yes.
Okay. My focus was primarily to make sure that we can be employed, but that we learn. But I'm also thinking about how young people today don't want to do the union construction jobs. You know how difficult it is to get a 19, 20-something year old to go want to do manual labor. Well, most of them still think marijuana is pretty cool. So if I can get you in here learning some science one way, slide some knowledge up underneath you, you might find that you actually like science.
Right.
I might have tricked you behind into a career.
Teaching them.
But the thing is, Noreen, you're going to have to drug test them too, though.
No, see, we want to do it. Listen,
because I know 19-year-olds, they put stuff in their pocket.
Well, and listen, and there are ways around that because you know what I'm saying. We still from the hood, and I still got hood measures that I can take care of things. Right, so right in the throat. So anyway, but the important thing is, I was mostly concerned to make sure that we can be in the business legally. Based on the convictions and things and the things that we suffered. And secondly, that our young people get to learn some things because this is the truth of the matter. There is no cavalry coming behind us to save our people. Either we're going to make some changes or we're going to fall by the wayside. And so the young people who don't want to go ahead and get an education, they don't want to do any manual labor. They think that they're too good to work at McDonald's. They're going to starve. And let me tell you, and I'm going to walk over them eating my burger, walking right past them. You know why? Because I work hard every day. Now, if you want to get with this or I got a couple things for you to do. I got some go to oil industry. I got some construction stuff for you. I got some cannabis for you. If you can't do none of that, then starve and I'll see you later.
Yeah.
What people not talking about is already today, youngsters are the ones that's running the cannabis shops anyway. So they learning right now. Right. But why not be able to teach them something that the important parts of it,
Well, the first thing they have to learn is how to manage business.
Right, that's right.
You can't sit on that corner with your 40 ounce at 10 o'clock in the morning and think you're doing something and you don't get to your store until 12 or 1. If you're going to be in the business, you have to be about the business.
Be in the business.
And you have to keep your records. You have to save the tax money, which I noticed with us as small vendors. We think, the tax will take care of itself. No, it will not. Right. That is money you must set aside because the state, the government wants it. And if you don't have it, they don't care where they get it from.
Let me tell you, back in the 1980s, there were a number of people who were young entrepreneurs, made their money selling drugs. But there's a guy named Britt Mitchell at Britt Mitchell Chevrolet in Compton, where they have that Fridays and all that. That was his whole. He was about 27, 28 years old, and he had a Chevy dealership. The guy who Suge Knight is in jail for killing, Terry Carter, he had TWK. This is back in the 80s. He was on La Brea. at just north of Florence. He had an auto dealership where he had all high-end cars, BMWs, Mercedes-Benz. There are a number of people who, at a young age, I think Freeway Rick is one of them, at a young age had a lot of money and learned how to invest and make the best of the bad situation that they were in. I think given the opportunity, a lot of these young people not just going to sit up on the wall and have a 40. They're going to invest in something. They're going to keep this business going and probably 7 years from now not sell to the major corporations, but continue to expand. I think the opportunity is there. Even though I'm against marijuana, I joke a lot about it, but I'm against it because I don't want my people to fall into a rut and become dependent. Like, some of the over-counter drugs, like you mentioned Vicodin and some of these other things. And I know people who are just sitting there like, I'm just going to take this and make the pain go away. I don't want marijuana to become so big, like it's acceptable now just to sit back and let the pain go away. But I think the cream will rise to the top as far as entrepreneurs go.
It's going to, and I really wasn't trying to suggest that it wasn't. I just wanted the half-steppers to know that your half-step is not going to get you anywhere in here.
No,
you're
going to
get shoved aside.
That's what Heatwave said. They said, ain't no half-stepping.
Ain't no half-stepping, really. And so it's serious business. And back to my original concern, if you don't do it right, it'll be fines rather than prison.
Absolutely.
Okay. And worst of all, you'll lose your license.
Yeah.
Right.
And your ability to get one.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? If you do it wrong up front, if you don't go ahead and get the license and you get in trouble for it or you get busted, now you have forfeited your ability to get one.
To get a license.
Okay, and now is the time to do it because we got the city to agree that the social equity, so the people who already had what are called pre-ICO licenses, they have a preference. They come first. Those are the people who were legally licensed.
What does that stand for?
Under
ICO?
I don't even know.
Is that
it's these were the 150 or so
135.
retail. Yeah, it's somewhere around that
see,
number.
I told you.
I read up. I understand the law, man. I spent all
can
the
read.
years. I have to read.
That's
He
good.
know more
That's
than
good.
he telling y'all.
You keep reading. Don't you let Skip mess you up.
Skip trying to
But
bully me,
you
man.
know what I'm saying. And we ain't let you bully us today either, Skip.
Yeah.
But the thing of it is, those pre-ICO people, they have preference. Okay, they're in line first, and then right behind them there will be a social equity application taken, and then just general people. So people who are who want to get into it, just listen, get it now. Do not wait until later. Do not wait until later. You need to get in now. You need to do the work. Put in the work right now to get the license now, because now is when they're doing this, and we don't know how long the social equity program is going to last. Right now, we got the council that we have with the council president that we have that is making these decisions. We don't know how long that's going to last.
He only got 2 more years.
Right.
He's out. This is he turned out.
And listen, and we don't know who's coming behind him and how they're going to feel about it. And just like with Colorado, they legalized it, but every year there are more and more changes to the regulations.
Yeah.
So you got to get in and get your license right now, where there's a concentration or there's a focus on making sure that you are not left behind. But if you miss the opportunity, that's on you. It's not on nobody else. And you can't say, well, I want to do this part of it, but I don't want to do this part of it.
Well, see, now this gets into the details that we really don't have enough information about what's required to get that license.
And what does ICO stand for?
I forgot the exact term, but it's the people who were licensed prior to 2007. Okay. And kept up with all of their taxes. So they get grandfathered in. So
wow.
These guys paid all their taxes.
2007, that's the medical marijuana part of it. Okay, so they're already grandfathered in.
Yeah, currently there's like 1,300 illegal dispensaries just in the city of LA and about 150 legal ones. So the city's like, okay, we're going to license those legal dispensaries, about 150 of them, to be recreational and medicinal in 2018. So
why the feds ain't hit the illegal ones? Guaranteed, if I had one, they'd have hit me long time ago.
It's not the feds, it's the city. The city is going to definitely hit them for sure in 2018. They've already come out and said, hey, you guys need to shut down. Enforcement will start in 2018.
Okay, so send a clear message to them. 2018.
It's not my words. Yeah, they're coming.
January 1.
We don't know. I'm sorry, we don't know if it's going to start January 1, but believe you me, when they start licensing these other operators, they're going to shut you down because you're competing with these licensed operators.
Will they go to jail?
Not initially, because just think of it as if you went and opened up an illegal liquor store, right? Now that cannabis is legal in the state, it's not as a hefty charge of a crime as it was when it was illegal. Mm-hmm. So there's misdemeanors and like up to 6 months in jail and fines, but it's still a misdemeanor, not a felony.
Oh yeah, but you said jail. I don't have 6 months.
Yeah, that's the. Well, I'm saying that's the worst case.
Part
that's
I wanted to. I wanted to be real clear about that. You know, Marcus, if Marcus doesn't follow the guidelines, he's susceptible to arrest again.
Oh yeah, so don't take a chance. I mean, you don't want to wait until they give you a warning and then you shut down. If you're thinking about going through the licensing process, I know it's hard to shut down a business that's currently making money because you've got expenses, you've got bills to pay. But if you're really serious about this, shut down your business for a few months. Go to thinkandgrowlab.org. Contact us. We can help you guys out.
Think and Grow.
It's called Interim Control Ordinance.
Right.
Interim, exactly. Right. The pre-ICO.
Interim Control Ordinance. Right. Interim. Right. That means in the meantime.
Right. Yeah, it's a control ordinance. So those licenses will get converted first, and then the city will license the equal number of those licenses for social equity.
And I hear all this commercialization and stuff, and I still have to go back to the cultivation question. Mm-hmm. I still have to go back to that because if Marcus is going to go into business,
right, and you're going to grow it, and I'm going to deliver.
I'm going to grow it?
You're going to grow. We're going to grow in your house.
Okay.
He's going to have a business, and I'm going to deliver it.
I don't mind being the grower, but are they going to come and raid my grow house?
So since the state of California is recreational and legal now, as a consumer, you're allowed to grow 6 plants in your home legally.
6 plants?
Isn't it 6 uncultivated and 6 cultivated?
Look, see, I told you he knows 12, right? He been saying.
No, I'm just saying.
Well, some of those. Wait. Let's not get confused with the Prop 215 guidelines for medical marijuana growing.
So that's over. So it's all being condensed into one set of regulations.
So now you can cultivate, but limited to 6.
For the entire household. So you can't say I got 5 people living here. 5
Oh, man, you can't get 30 out of that.
That ain't working.
I was about to go into business. I was about to hook Skipp up, Marcus up, we was going to go into business.
Yeah, but you can get licensed and grow up to 22,000 square feet of canopy space.
That's what the lady in San Bernardino thought, and they lit her up with 24,000 plants.
She
and her bill was 70. She had 70,000 a month.
But she was doing it illegally. Remember, no one is licensed to grow cannabis currently in the city of Los Angeles.
Okay, no, she was in San Bernardino.
Yeah, that was
even in San Bernardino. They haven't licensed.
And she was right behind the police station.
Right. Okay, in front of the school district. Let me put a pin in that. You see, because she was not growing for street distribution. Right. That's a medical marijuana grow house. When it's that large, they're not coming down to Crenshaw and handing it to the market and say, here. Mm-hmm. It's not working like that. Not with the places the size that she had.
Well, she was illegal from the scratch. She just went and released the warehouse and started cultivating without anyone's permission.
Mm-hmm. But see, that's the whole process.
They had three different grows.
You can't do that
under the medical marijuana. You still have to have a cultivator. Somebody still has to cultivate.
So these dispensaries were supposed to be cultivating for themselves on site.
That's what the police said. They do their own cultivating.
So each dispensary had to grow for each patient. So each plant had to have a patient's name attached to it as well. But all that has gone out.
I didn't know that either.
I did not know that.
I asked because at the liquor store, that liquor got your name on it.
Because I asked law enforcement. Well, we have so many dispensaries around here now.
90% of them are illegal.
90% are illegal, but my question at that moment was, well, where are they getting their merchandise from?
They're supposed to be
and the police said, well, they're doing their own cultivating. Yeah. So we've given a lot of information tonight, y'all.
I've learned a lot tonight.
Yeah, y'all can cultivate, but only 6 plants.
And I learned a lot from Marcus. Who said, I don't know nothing about this. Thank you guys for coming, but I got all my info from Marcus.
Marcus, was so funny.
I mean, I know a little bit, man. I'm well versed in understanding, that I can go to jail if I don't follow the rules. So
that's really the most
going
important
into
thing.
2018. The two hottest topics are going to be cannabis and cryptocurrency, blockchain, Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
Those are the two hottest topics.
Somebody
of
tried to get me on Bitcoin.
Stay out of it. Stay out of it.
They asked me about a year and a half ago, and I didn't. But look, had I just put $1,000 in then, you know where I'd be now.
But you could have been out of that $1,000 too. So there's no guarantees, and we're just not in a place where we can play with our funds that way. Just risk our investments that way. So I'm joking, but the laws are serious, and we want our community to understand what's going to take place. If you have a medical dispensary right now and you're not legal, they will close you down, fine you, and possibly imprison you too.
Correct.
Okay.
And if you want to become legal, even if you just want to know what the regulations are, go to thinkandgrowlab.org. Thinkandgrowlab.org. Okay. The regulations are up there. We will help you find consultants. We will explain things to you. But we have things up there that if you want to at least research it on your own, we have enough of the information up there as to what's required. And we will be doing trainings. We've done several full-day workshops on how to prepare the licenses and what the regulations are. And we do that so that people who are serious about the business and they're willing to do it the right way, we're willing to help you. We're willing to help you. We can't help everybody, but we can connect you to people who can be helped.
I have to stop you right now because I only got 15 minutes left, and you sitting here throwing these names of what you about to do with these workshops. But Noreen, when I met you, you was interrupting violence. Then after that, you started hiring people to build, and you built the thing in your mama's name over here, the big shopping center, and then you in the prison, and then so Noreen, I need to know what the hell do you do, because it seems like you do everything. What do you do?
You got 10 jobs like you got
Jamaican. 10 jobs.
I'm truly Jamaican.
And I forgot to leave out, she's a promoter. She's a club promoter. She's on stage talking about, well, I ain't gonna say that.
Yeah, don't
the
say
word.
That.
Yeah, but so
and 9 out of those 10 jobs are from her goodwill. She's actually making a difference and helping, and that's why I love Noreen.
Right. So
she's not getting paid for most of them, so she's awesome.
So
you didn't get paid to dance in that video.
No, actually, I paid.
Right. Okay.
Shoot, I was the person paying for that one.
So Noreen, who are you? What do you do?
So
the most important thing is to tell our listeners how to find you.
Okay.
How to find you for this.
She on Facebook.
So
no, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, maybe she doesn't want everybody on Facebook friending her about this.
Can I just say this? I have hated Skipp Townsend for years.
No, she
every time I'm in his presence, even though I miss him when I don't see him, I hate him intensely. And when I get back with him in 5 minutes, I understand why I don't like him.
No, she doesn't.
But anyway, so I'm the executive director of Concerned Citizens of South Central Los Angeles. We were founded in 1985, and we're a community development corporation. What the heck does that mean? Whatever the community needs, we try to develop that and provide that to the community. That's why when you listed when you met me, I was trying to interrupt violence, because that was an issue.
Yeah.
Right? A major issue, right?
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I wound up down in Watts, but came from the ceasefire committee. They said, hey, they got a major problem in Watts. I was getting ready to build 44 single-family homes in Watts.
And I used to live in one of your buildings.
Yeah.
And she didn't know I used to sneak in at night.
He used to sneak in at night, and he didn't have no business over there. I need my rent money, by the way. So because I was going to build 44 single-family homes in Watts, and all that killing that was going on at that time, I couldn't afford them killing over top of my construction project.
Right.
So that became even more incentive for them to stop all the killing down there. So that's how I got involved, because again, we're a community development corporation, and whatever the community says it needs or whatever needs we see, typically we go ask the community what they need. But then there are some instances where right now, for example, the biggest problem, the root problem of so many of our issues is we don't have income.
Right.
We don't have income. Mm-hmm. We have developed over 700 units of affordable housing. One of those units that Skipp used to sneak in at night, is affordable housing. Mm-hmm. But it didn't matter how cheap it was because you didn't have the money to pay the rent.
No, I didn't.
Which is why you had to sneak in at night.
Right.
You understand?
Yes, I do.
So
I appreciate you, though.
I know you do.
Right.
I know you do. And I still hate you. So it doesn't matter. So at the end of the day, if we don't provide, if people are not employed and earning money, then it doesn't matter how cheap I make an apartment. It doesn't matter how many shopping centers I can bring to the community, how many I can build, how many Starbucks and yogurt lands I can bring. You can't afford none of that stuff. It don't matter how many car dealerships. It don't even matter how many medical marijuana dispensaries we have. You can't afford it because you don't have no money.
You don't have any money, right?
So for me lately, I didn't need the community to tell me that we need to focus on our income disparity, that we need to get people employed. We need to start them young, recognizing if you don't work, you don't eat. Okay? So with all these large scale projects, for example, going on in the 9th Council District over the next few years, they always have these local hire requirements, and people say, well, we can't find enough people locally that are qualified. So I got them to agree to pay for us to train people ahead of time for these jobs. But guess what? I couldn't get nobody to come to the workshops.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's
Good
because
with that weed, though.
well,
You can't.
That's
with
my
that
thought.
weed.
That's my thought,
out.
which is why I'm transitioning for that, because we got to get our folks to understand you cannot stay home on Molly and lean and smoke them blunts all day eating Captain Crunch in your skivvies in your mama's house.
Whoa.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? And think that you're
Watching
going to survive.
cartoons, eating
Watching
all the milk and
cartoons.
cereal.
You can't
How
do
dare
it.
you, Marcus?
You
don't
can't
do
do
that.
it.
I move around. I don't like to sit in one spot.
Okay.
I sat in the
He
cell
eat his
for
Captain
17
Crunch on the
years.
run is what he say.
okay. Let's just be fair about this, because we do have a certain segment that is disenfranchised, disinterested. They just don't care, and they're disenchanted. And I can't be mad at them because they haven't had anything to run to.
That's right.
Until people like you and Skipp have come around and stayed stable.
And that's why I do it. And that's why I continue to do it.
It's visible and stable. You see, that's a big distinction, where we've had a lot of people come forward, not find what they were looking for, get discouraged, and go back to what they're familiar with. So it's too many in this generation just to say that they're all cursed like that. There are a few in there that want a way out, and we want to encourage them to not only go after it, but get themselves legal. Make sure all their T's are crossed and the I's dotted, that they are protecting their own backsides.
Absolutely.
And so that's the most important message. And so if you have an interest in the legal marijuana industry that's coming January 1st, you need to get with them and find out what's required so you can do it the right way and not waste your time.
Just call me because I'm finna pick some brains tonight.
Right.
That'll be cool.
And it's not just about licensing as well. You don't have to be a license holder and go through that entire process, because it's a long process and there's some costs involved, and we can help with that as well. But there's jobs, right? Marie mentioned there's jobs all across the category, from cultivation to working in an extraction laboratory, getting the oils out of the plant, and infusion labs and creating products, right?
Well, we don't want to
Cloning
get in that infusion thing yet, because I understand that's a little tricky and can be dangerous when people try to do that on their own.
What is infusion? What is that?
Well, extraction.
Extraction, yeah.
when you're extracting the oil out of the flower.
Yeah.
So you
Press,
go through
right?
it. Well, there's different ways.
No,
There's volatile and non-volatile extraction process.
Yeah.
So there's like CO2, ethanol,
Yes.
butane, and then heat press. Right?
And the point that I'm trying to make, if you don't know what you're doing, you shouldn't
Stay
be
away
in
from
that.
butane.
But-
If you do not know what you're doing, you can blow yourself up with butane.
Yes.
But-
Blow
Hold on one
yourself
thing.
up.
I got to throw a plug in there for one of my partners in prison. He used to make white lightning. Let me tell you. Now, this dude didn't graduate high school. He's supposed to go to Crenshaw. He couldn't
That's
go.
science.
Look, that's science.
It's
He used to take the alcohol out of the deodorant in prison and get drop for drop. And he said that's pure alcohol.
Pure alcohol.
Right.
The sweat.
The sweat
The
is
steam.
pure. Right. So to say some of these guys who, and right now if I go to his house, he's sitting on the porch probably drinking. these dudes who drinking the lean, eating all the Captain Crunch like Marcus and the Skippies, you know, they have skills.
But
they
but those are the skilled positions that I'm talking about that I want to train our young people to do. Those are high paying jobs. Some of those jobs are $40 an hour or more. And this is why I'm saying that I want our people, okay, so you don't want to do manual labor, but you're going to have to do something. Okay? And so let's train. First they got to think.
Not something you can't do just guessing your way through.
Exactly.
And so with little time we have left, I want you to go through some of these options that are available, from growing 6 plants to the extraction to the employment possibilities.
Well, all of that. I mean, through the cultivation, just the cultivation on its own, right? Then there's going to be the separation, and the cultivation includes growing it, trimming. Okay, there are people who trim the waste off, and then you have the people who are doing the extractions, which goes into manufacturing, and then making, once it's extracted, how it's infused in certain products, and then those products are sold. Then there's the retailing of all of that. There's ways that all that has to be done, and in every area, there are jobs. There are jobs for people, because no longer will you go into a dispensary and they have bud in a container and they let you smell it. All of it has to be prepackaged. So there are going to be there's packaging. You can't smell it no more. There's packaging. This is why branding will become important.
The strain.
Right, the strain, but then also the branding. A brand name will be created and cultivated, and then people become familiar with the brand.
Like a Gucci.
Like a Gucci or Versace. Versace. You see what I'm saying? Versace, right? So this is why it's important for us to get involved now and create brands and do all these things.
Black people create the Cadillac brand.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's be a little realistic. You're not going to create a brand with 6 plants.
Right.
No.
You have to get into that level where you can.
Like that lady in San Bernardino. She had a brand.
Well, not
she had a brand.
Not necessarily. I mean, that's why I want to talk here, because you can start really small. If you come up with a good product, let's say you come up with an excellent chocolate that's infused with cannabis, you can come to manufacturers that, for example, we'll set up a manufacturing plant where we can white label or co-pack for you. You say, hey, Danny, this is my formula. This is my design and packaging. Can you make this product for me and distribute it? Yes, we can. So you don't have to be licensed to do that. You just need to come up with a formula or something that you like and you think it's going to be a success.
He just said chocolate a couple times. Obviously, it's in the chocolate too. Something that I like to eat, but it may have some cannabis in it.
It could be a lot of different
things. But it has to be labeled if it has cannabis in it.
Yeah, everything just like how they did labeled and dosed. Everything needs to be labeled and dosed and tested as well. So, but there are companies who can do that for you. You just need to want to be a part of it.
No, I don't want to test. I don't want to test. Right. I won't say what I want, but I won't want to test.
All right.
Well, it's an amazing change that I'm glad California finally put on their big boy pants and got smart about this, because it's just ridiculous that we still classify marijuana as a dangerous drug as heroin, and it's not. It's ridiculous. And so California finally showed some intelligence here, but
shout out to California.
We've always had it because we had Humboldt County.
Right.
Okay, but now we're getting smart about it. And so we want our community to be smart about it and be involved. Right. Don't just let it just roll over and pass you by and sweep you up where you just become a consumer, when you have a chance to be a business venture in
That's
this.
Right.
Yes.
So you got about 2-3 minutes. You want to have them leave with something? What do you want the world to know?
I think you guys need to come back, because I don't think we've covered it up.
No.
I'll tell you what, if you guys have questions,
fast.
but in the meantime, Skipp wanted them to know how to contact me. Concerned Citizens of South Central Los Angeles, ccscla.org. ccscla.org.
Say that again.
ccscla.org. Okay, that's how you can find me. 323-846-2500. 323.
That ain't your cell number.
846-2500.
Why are you interrupting the ad?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And think and growlab.org. Think andgrowlab.org. Okay,
all right.
That's how you can get more information on cannabis regulations and assistance on getting licensing, and anything that you want to know. Contact us in either location.
You know how they do them commercials in the middle of the music on the radio? Mm-hmm. That was your ad, right?
That was
there.
my ad. That was my ad. If we can hurry up, like we could just talk so that we don't have to do the skip singing thing at the end. I was okay.
But I need him to have the last words too. Though.
Yeah. Right.
Go ahead. What you want to leave the people with, Mr. Shaker?
Yeah, I think there's a great opportunity to build generational wealth and
generational wealth.
There's,
See, now y'all got me. Thank you.
Stop being criminalized.
The communities
and think generational
that were hurt
wealth.
the most were the black and brown communities by the war on drugs. Now, it's kind of like poetic justice, where it's legal. There's an opportunity. Don't let it pass you by. It's the new green rush.
Yeah.
Generational growth.
So listen, that's the word for the day.
I want to say my last words to the mover and the shakers of LA is keep your head
to the sky.
And we're local, and we would love to come back. So thanks for having us.
You will.
Thank you.
In January.
To the sky.
God bless you, community family. Gang Talk will be back next week, and happy holidays to all.
Hey, do you know why that song makes you